Welcome to episode one, the pilot episode of the Blairing Truth. I'm going to host this first episode. My name is Jacob, and on the podcast with me is my dad, Roger, and my brother, Noah. How are we doing today, boys?
I am doing wonderful. It's a wonderful day to be alive.
I am slightly tired, but I'm pretty good. I had me a snack and about 10 diet dew, so I'm back where I should be.
Highly caffeinated?
Yes, this is not a sponsor, but these things right here, incredible macros too.
Nice.
If you want to quit eating chips, eat these dudes.
Well, I think the first thing that we should talk about today, since it's currently going on, is the Pacers Knicks series that's happening right now. Last night, the Pacers lost in a very ugly way by 30 after beating the Knicks by 30 in the previous game. Um, what are your guys' initial thoughts after last night's loss? Dad, you go first.
I couldn't hardly bear to watch it, so it was it was terrible. Uh, Turnovers was killing them, and I can't figure out Halliburton for the life of me. Uh, I don't know. It seems like something's wrong with him to me. One of my friends on Facebook said that ever since All Star break, he started dressing funny and playing bad. Um, I don't know if that's true or if he's always dressed weird, but that particular guy said he started dressing weirder after that, and he's played worse. So I don't know. He's definitely not played as good as he did at the beginning of the season, and I don't know. They got out hustled last night. They got outworked. They turned the ball over. Halliburton stunk, and we can't win like that. So
Noah, what do you think?
I mean, to be completely honest, all 5 games have pretty much been the same. And the team that won is the team that actually came out to play the whole game, not just part of the game or half of the game. And the number one in us has been if Tyrese is going to show up and be aggressive or not. And in the games that he does, we win, or it's a close game, or in the games he doesn't, we don't. And that's the commonality. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Well, like Noah was saying, I think a huge thing has been energy and who comes out with more energy. And that definitely is a factor that all games have been won by the home team so far in the series. I think that makes a huge difference. I think the teams want to play better in front of their home crowd for sure. But everybody says a series doesn't start until a home team loses. The Pacers get back home for Game 6, and obviously it's a must win because it's an elimination game. But I would almost bet they'll come out with more energy and hopefully play better and pick that win up. I definitely think that Tyrese was not anywhere near as aggressive in that last game as he had been the previous 2 games where we won. And he doesn't need to score as many points as Brunson scores, but I believe that he needs to control the game the same way Brunson does. He needs to have the ball in his hand more. He needs to dictate the offense. And we play better when he's aggressive. We have played better and we've won the games where he's been aggressive. No, I'll let you finish up what you were going to say.
you're muted.
I was muted. I got some notes right here. I mean, really, we're just kind of picking on every player that actually gets minutes on the Pacers. Obviously, I already said Tyrese not being aggressive has been the main factor in us losing. One of the biggest things that's, as a pun, blaring from the Pacers is the fact that Miles Turner cannot get a rebound over Hartenstein to save his life, and neither can Isaiah Jackson. I believe, even though last night was a blowout, I'm pretty sure that they had about 23 points off of second chance rebounds. Give me 1 second, I'll finish up.
Well, piggybacking off that, I'll give you a stat. Hardenstein himself last night had 12 offensive rebounds by himself.
What did the Pacer team have? You know,
I'm not sure what they had as a total. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but
I remember Isaiah Jackson getting a few rebounds throughout the game. When he was in, he seemed to do all right rebounding, but Noah's right. They killed us on the boards, and I think they have the whole series. Have we won on
yeah,
the boards?
the games
Any?
the games we've won, we have won the rebounding battle, and we've limited them. We've limited their offensive rebounding, and they're great at it. They crash all five guys on the offensive glass, and that's why they offensive rebound so well. But if we cannot let Isaiah Hardenstein get 12 offensive rebounds by himself. That's almost impossible to overcome.
I think that's honestly our biggest problem because, like, we lost by 30, and like I said, they had 22 second chance points.
Which
And
is
obviously, we have to be better on the offensive end, and score more points. But let's say they get 10 points off of offensive rebounds instead, because they're going to get offensive rebounds. That makes us lose by 20. And in games where offense actually decides to show up and play ball, that's going to be a big difference maker. And who's going to win the game and how close it is in general. I think it was the exact opposite in the game that we blew them out. The only difference was they were getting less rebounds, and we were actually hitting our shots. So, and we I don't think we had very many second chance points in that game either. It was just the fact we were hitting shots.
let me ask you this. So the home team has won every game. So let's say the Pacers come out and we win Game 6. What is the realistic percentage you guys think we have a chance to win a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden?
I'll tell you right now, if we win the next game, like, if you can give me his number, I will call Tyrese Halliburton on the morning of the Game 7, and I will talk to him. And the way he is talking about how he's going to play, I can tell you if we're going to win or not, because it's really all on him. He cannot come out and have less than 20 points in a Game 7. There's no chance. Unless, I mean, if he wants to have 5 points and 45 assists, then I'm okay with that too. But he's got to be responsible for the offense. In the last couple games, the games that we've lost are just him catching the ball. And like in the games we won, he catches the ball, he's got some room, he shoots the ball. In the games we lose, he catches the ball, he looks around first, then he looks at the rim like he's going to shoot, and he gives the defense too much time to come up. And the Knicks are really good at defensive rotations. So by the time he's passing up shots, there's nobody to pass to that's going to create offense, and there's only 5 seconds left in the shot clock. Thank God that Nembhard hit that shot, because that's exactly the problem there too. He had enough time to score. He held the ball too long, and Nembhard had to throw up a prayer. And he did hit it, and he's responsible for that win. But at the same time, we have to create offense like those first 8 seconds like we do the whole game when we're winning.
I've been watching him a little bit on how teams play defense on Halliburton. Can he go left at all? Is the question. Because when I watch, they're trying to make him go left. When they're playing aggressive defense on him, they make him go left. He goes left, and then he tries to get back right.
The answer to that question is he wants to pass first. So when he does, like, he can go left and he can score left, but the problem is, like, he'll stop on a dime and throw the ball across court to somebody in the corner from 45 feet away. It's really hard for him to do that while he's fading to the left, or like they're pressuring him to the corner. So he likes to go right, so he's got that ball dominant hand with the ball, so he can throw that football pass across the court. But if he's trying to score, he will go left.
I was listening to JJ Redick's podcast, and he was talking about that as well because he's been calling some of the games. He says Tyrese can go left. He can go left. He's way more comfortable going right. And JJ said that he's like one of the most devastating offensive players if he gets to his right hand going downhill. Like he scores, he'll either hit that floater or he'll get to the rim. It makes him more uncomfortable going left. And that's teams have been doing that since the Lakers started doing that in the in-season tournament game where they beat us. That was their game plan, and then teams started copying that, and it's been effective, but not really because when he comes out and he hunts his shot and he's aggressive, he still scores and he scores lots of points. So I think honestly it's an aggressive. He's not aggressive enough.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is for that. What is the answer for rebounding?
They're going to win rebounding, but rebounding is a hustle thing. You have to get your body on, guys. We cannot let Hardenstein have 12 offensive rebounds in a game. That's just not blocking out and not hitting the glass hard enough. And as far as the turnovers go, you're talking about turnovers. We made some bonehead turnovers in that game.
Yeah,
Just throwing the ball to people or throwing the ball out of bounds, and we were playing frantic almost instead of playing how we've been playing. We're flying up the court and playing under control in chaos. That's how the Pacers play. They play in chaos, but they play under control. And we have like the best assist to turnover ratio in the whole playoffs. But in that game, we were just careless with the ball and just made tons of bonehead plays.
I also think that we should probably keep our best players in longer, especially with the game like last night. There were so many stoppages in that game for reviews, and there was no reason for them to be tired. There were so many breaks that then I don't know how much Halliburton played minute wise, and they may have taken him out towards the end of the game since we're down so much anyways. But I think you got to leave your best players in a lot more even. I don't care if they play the whole game, especially in a game like that where there's so many timeouts given.
I agree to a point, but I think that's one of the Pacers' greatest strengths is that they play lots of guys, they keep guys fresh, and that's how they're able to run like they do. And they've also been playing full court pressure defense the whole series.
Yeah,
And that takes a lot of energy as well.
I think that's been effective.
But I agree. I think that you can still sub guys in and out, but Halliburton and Siakam have to play more.
Yeah.
Well, and the problem,
those two specifically.
one of the biggest problems I've noticed recently, especially in these playoffs, is every time TJ McConnell's in being effective, the rotations that Rick Carlisle decides to do is usually McConnell can be in there being effective, but we have to have at least Tyrese or Pascal on the floor, which I personally believe you have to. You have to have they can't both be on bench. But the issue is if TJ McConnell is being successful at the way he plays and he's scoring baskets, it completely eliminates Tyrese or Pascal, even if they were both out there with him, because Tyrese is not a very good off the ball player. He can catch and shoot, but especially late in the shot clock, he's not being aggressive and taking the ball at the hoop. The good thing about Pascal is if TJ goes in, gets doubled in the paint, and cannot do his little turnaround jump shot, then he can give the ball to Pascal, and Pascal's going to get up a shot that doesn't look like a good shot, but it's his shot, and it's going to go in most of the time. But that's the issue is there are star players. We need them on the court to like carry the load and keep the score close the entire game. But that's the issue is if TJ McConnell is being successful at doing TJ McConnell things, it kind of makes Pascal and Tyrese role players. And I
I
think
don't.
that's more of what TJ McConnell should do. Like I have right here, one of my nitpick on McConnell is he's really good at those shots, but he doesn't look to pass when somebody's standing right underneath the goal when he doesn't have the shot.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the games so far in this series, I feel like you can tell within like the first couple possessions if TJ has it or not. Like if he's getting to the basket and he's making his jumper, I feel like he's the kind of player he either has it or he doesn't. And he can affect the game in different ways. He doesn't have to score. But as far as scoring goes, I feel like you can tell right away if he's going to be good that game or not scoring wise.
If we can see that, though, the coaches should be able to know that.
Yep. And
Yeah,
his
but
and his
like I said, that doesn't mean he doesn't play because he's still good at distributing the ball and he's a good defender. But he needs to know personally if he's not hitting his shots, he needs to stop taking as many.
and the problem is when like he has some good assist games, but if you watch them, like when they're like TJ McConnell has 10 assists, you don't remember more than 3 because his assists are all like I not like I might be wrong, but I swear 90% of his assists are I'm gonna attack, get doubled, I'm gonna hold the ball down there trying to make some room. If I can't, I'm going to cross court pass to Obi Toppin in the corner for a 3, or I'm gonna hand the ball off to Pascal and start getting back on defense.
He hits a lot of cutters and stuff when he gets down the paint too for dunks and
Well,
stuff.
personally, the last 2 games, even the game we won, and he hits the shots, but the problem is like every once in a while he'll get doubled there, and they'll be like Pascal or Miles or Obi Toppin standing right underneath the goal, and like they might have like a smaller defender on them. I know for 100% fact last night when I was watching, he drove in, got doubled. He was standing there underneath the goal with McBride on him, and he was fronting him. If TJ would have just threw the ball up to Obi Toppin's hands, McBride probably would have got absolutely jammed on. But he threw up a shot and airballed instead. I think he gets tunnel vision sometimes because, especially when he's doing good, like that's the most I see it. If he hits like 5 or 6 shots in a row, that 7th shot, he is shooting the ball. It don't matter who is open under there. And I think that's an issue when he doesn't have it going because it seems like even when he doesn't, he shoots it anyway.
I also think he's trying to compensate for Tyrese not being aggressive by him being really aggressive. And it works sometimes. It worked in 2 of the games where he was great and he hit a lot of shots and he was finding cutters and stuff like that.
I
But
don't
when it's
know.
not when it's not going in, it doesn't really matter.
I don't know what the stats are after last night's game, but um, before that, Tyrese was number one in assist for the playoffs, and TJ McConnell was number 5
Yeah.
for the playoffs. So we have 2 guys in the top 5 in the playoffs in assists on the same team.
And Siakam gets a lot of assists too. He's good at getting down, kicking out.
I think he's almost like McConnell with that though. Is he'll get down there and he'll do like 30 spin moves and he doesn't have it, so then he tosses it to the corner, which that's almost like always a D Smith or a top end 3.
Oh, I mean, if you on the other side, that's what Brunson does. Brunson will hold the ball for 16 seconds, and then if he can't get a shot, then he kicks it out.
And don't get me started on D Smith. I tell you that right now. I'm about tired of him. His aggressiveness on defense, it makes him worth playing. But the fact of the matter is, he might be the worst finisher I've ever seen play in NBA in the history. As soon as he starts getting downhill, I know it's about to be a missed layup or him getting absolutely stuffed. I don't understand why because he's got the size and he's quick, but that's what I've been noticing about him too.
He seems he seems like he's been reluctant to shoot threes too in this series. And he's a good 3-point shooter. I've seen him do a lot of pump faking and then driving. And Noah's right. He's probably our worst finisher on our team when he gets inside. And he's not a great passer. He will pass it, but he's not a guy that is a big assist guy even if he gets caught. Like, he's not going to give a lot of assists out.
And honestly, Obi Toppin is the same way. When he gets downhill, because if he's not dunking on someone's head or getting enough room to just go up and dunk it, if he has to take a layup, it's a brick every time.
I disagree with that. I think Obi's a pretty good finisher. He hits a lot of
He's
contested.
definitely been he's definitely been better in these playoffs, but in the regular season he was awful, atrocious.
If we're going to continue talking role players, though, I think two of the underrated stars for the Pacers have been Ben Shepherd and Isaiah Jackson. Ben Shepherd, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I saw Alex Golden. He posted this on Twitter, and he said that of all the Pacers, Ben Shepherd has the best net rating, meaning his on and off numbers. He has the best net rating in the whole series of the Pacers. I think he has a net rating of like 15.4.
And I honestly think that really comes. I mean, he's a skilled ball player, but I think it also comes from him being on a leash because he's not going to be like a Naismith and drive in and throw one up. I don't think I've ever seen him take a contested layup in this entire year we're in the playoffs. He will not take one of those. He won't even take a three if anybody is within 3 foot of him. So when he does take shots, he's wide open, and us having good skilled offensive players leaves him open. I don't necessarily think that stat tells a story, but he has been a really good player.
He's
100%.
shooting 50% from three in the playoffs.
Who is?
Shepherd as a
I did.
rookie.
I did get a comment on Twitter for us. So, comment says, "Would it help the Pacers if they leaned more into Jalen Brunson since he's carrying the load for the injured Knicks?"
I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean?
I'd say put even more pressure than we already are on him.
I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed it or not. Every time we brought two to the ball in that game yesterday, they absolutely destroyed us. He was passing out of that immediately to either Hardenstein or Josh Hart, and they were just kicking it around and either getting a wide open 3-pointer or a dunk.
I just think we need
They
to.
were killing us on double team.
I just think we need to take one of the younger guys on the team that hasn't earned their stripes, that doesn't necessarily get a lot of minutes, and we don't need to start them, but take them off, put them off the bench early, and say, Jalen Brunson's your assignment. You're going to chase him and harass him. I don't even care what you do on offense. Like almost like a Jarris Walker. I would love to see what Jarris Walker could do against Brunson, and he
I
can score.
I said that to Sam the other night when I was talking with him. I would love to see them try 5 minutes of Jarris on him, just because Jarris is like 6'8", and he's big, so Brunson's not going to do the little back down turnarounds on him.
Yeah.
He would try to beat him off the dribble, but I think Jarris has quick enough feet where he could wall him off enough. Right
Well, and
now,
he's
right now we're playing our two best perimeter defensive players on him primarily. It's been either Nemhard or it's been Neesmith.
and McConnell.
The primary though, TJ's playing him third most, and Nemhard. I'll use my own term. Nemhard has been baked beans.
He's
Every
been a
time,
barbecue chicken sandwich.
every time Nemhard guards him one on one, I almost 100% of the time think Brunson's scoring, and he is. He's either getting by him on dribble move, or he's hitting that fadeaway jumper, off backing him down.
I think it's because he doesn't play him as tight as oh crap, what's his name? The other guy,
Neesmith.
Neesmith. Neesmith puts the body on him a lot and makes a lot of physical contact with him. And if you watch Nimhard, he doesn't. He gives him a little bit more space because he doesn't want to get beat. So he gives him a little bit more space, and he eats him alive on that. Eats him
Well,
alive.
the issue is Neesmith is very effective on him, and I've loved watching him play defense on him. The issue is you got to go to Google and look up where is the Pacers game being played tonight to know if it's going to be effective. Because if the game is in Madison Square Garden, Neesmith is going to have 4 fouls in the first half.
I did not think the officials were bad last night. I will
I
say
didn't
that.
think they're. I just think we were bad. But I think
They
every other
probably
game.
they probably called the game better last night than they have any other game.
Even
Hey,
though even
you want
though I think it's absolutely ridiculous to have 5 booth reviews in the first quarter like that.
Hey, who's our best 3 players on the Pacers? Our big 3, really. Pascal.
Turner, Halliburton, and Pascal.
Yep. Guess how many free throws combined they've had this series? 43. Guess how many free throws Jalen Brunson has had this series?
A lot.
43.
But the reason of that is Brunson has the ball all the time. And you can say what you want about him about foul baiting, and he does. He flops a lot. And he does draw contact first a lot. But that man is super aggressive. And officials are going to reward that. You're going to get foul calls if you're aggressive to basketball all the time.
I just, I don't agree with that at all. Because he's aggressive, but he is the aggressor that is causing, like what I said last night when I was talking to you. He gets inside, he takes the ball in a shooting motion, and he does it quick, so the ref can't really see it. And like, let's say that Nimhard especially is the one who gets cooked by this the most. He drives in, he stops on a dime, he does one fake, the defender comes in more, and then he takes the ball, puts it in his chest, shoves him with the ball on his way up. And he's a really good shooter inside, and he's got control of his body and his shot motion. So he creates the contact and then throws the ball up. So he gets a lot of and ones, or he gets a lot of near misses. Like it would have been and one, but the ball went in and out or something like that. But he gets those calls, and like last night, like it seems like anytime there's a 50-50, it depends on where we're at. If we're at MSG, the foul is going on the Pacers. Last night, if they would not have overturned that one where Brunson literally speared Neesmith and then flopped, I would have turned the game off and never watched one again. That would have been the worst call I've ever seen in my life.
As frustrating as that is, that's part of the game. Is leaning in and getting fouls. There's an art to it. Dwayne Wade was the most frustrating player ever to watch sometimes because of how great he was at drawing fouls. Same thing with James Harden when he was in Houston. James Harden was so good at getting the free throw line. Jimmy Butler's the same way. He doesn't hit a ton of shots, but he's efficient in his shooting, and he gets to the free throw line a lot. That's why he gets his
I
points.
hate I hate watching those type of players.
Here's my issue with that though. Pascal Siakam, he's fouled on every shot attempt. I tell you what, and he gets like 1 or 2 whistles a game.
I think his part is he cries wolf too much. Every time he shoots the ball, he screams like he got murdered. Officials don't like that.
I I hate when that Chris Paul used to drive me crazy too. He does that, which they quit calling it a little bit last couple of years, where you pull the ball up and through onto the defender, and they
The
call it
rim
quick.
switch.
I
Yeah,
hate that, but they still call it sometimes, and it just drives me crazy.
I agree. So, so let's do this. Going into Game 6, I want a couple things from you guys the Pacers need to do to win, and I want you guys to give different answers. So Noah, I'll let you go first, and then Dad, you go, and then I'll go last. I want at least 2 things the Pacers need to do to win Game 6.
I'll go ahead and start off with the obvious. Tyrese Halliburton, the all-star starter, needs to show up for Game 6. I think he will. But, to be honest with you, I'm not worried about him in Game 6. I'm worried about him in Game 7 because I think we are winning Game 6. I'm worried about him that next game. And then the next one would probably be Obi Toppin has been so efficient on the three-pointer this series and even on the year, really. And I think he could be even more efficient when he catches the ball and actually just shoots it immediately. And it hasn't been the whole series or even when we were playing the Bucks, but these last 2 games, it's been every time he catches the ball, he like takes too much time, and then like I said, he'll get to the like 6 or 5 seconds left in the shot clock, and he's got to get rid of it because he cannot create a shot for himself. He's not. I've never even seen him take a step back shot, and that's the issue. Because he was being, especially in the Bucks series, he was extremely efficient on catch and shoot threes. And I think if he just can quit hesitating like he has been recently and just take the shot, same with Ben Shepherd, honestly. Like those two guys, they need to catch, shoot. And Ben Shepherd's been better recently because I think he's gotten a little bit more confidence. But Obi Toppin, for some reason, the last 2 or 3 games has just been taking too long to shoot, and he's been missing lots of shots and passing up wide open ones.
I would say the same thing. I mean, Halliburton has to be more aggressive, and it's not just being aggressive for aggressive sake. It has to be he has to be a leader out there. And does that always mean scoring? And no, he doesn't have to have a big scoring night. He can score 18 points and we can win just fine. If he's out there leading the team, if he is being passive and taking up 10 to 12 seconds on the shot clock, dribbling the ball around or trying to probe and get in, and then not doing it and then passing it off the last second for someone else to take a shot, that doesn't work for us. And then, we get a bad shot, they get a rebound, they get on a fast break, and the momentum gets behind the other team. So, and he's got to play better defense too. He's been god awful on some defensive stuff I've seen, and he's just got some of effort. He's got to be better at it. And I'd say the other thing is TJ McConnell has to show up big for us in both games because the rest of the team feeds off him. If he's playing well and he's hitting shots and he's distributing the ball when he's in, he gets, especially at home, he gets a crowd fired up. And even on the road, when he's making good plays, he gets the rest of the team fired up behind him. So he's got to play well too, in my opinion. So Halliburton's got to play well, and he's got to lead when he's out there. And McConnell's got to come in, and he's got to play well when Halliburton's not in there.
Yeah, I agree with what both of you guys said. I think a huge thing is going to be, as crazy as it sounds, with how the Pacers don't have a ton of size. We have a size advantage on the Knicks. We have to kill the lineups when they're playing the four guards and Hardenstein. That means that either Siakam or Turner have a guard on them. We have to punish that. We also can't get out rebounded when they have the four guard lineup in. So we have to use size to our advantage for sure. I think that's huge. Obviously, you guys brought up Halliburton has to step up. That's an obvious one. And then I think our bench has to be the bench that it was in the 2 wins we had. They're going to have to
win.
They're going to have to put up 40 or 45 points like they did in the 2 wins for us to win Game 6.
Siakam cannot disappear either. Some of the games, he just disappears into the background. Unless he's getting the ball, constantly, you don't even notice he's in the game. And he has to do more than be able to score for the team. So I don't know if I'm not seeing what he's doing when he's not got the ball or what, but it just seems like if he's not got the ball trying to score, I don't even know he's in the game unless I start looking for him. So he has to do more than what he's doing.
All right, let's finish up this Pacers topic. I want your guys' prediction for the rest of the series. Honest predictions.
I guess I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think we win Game 6, and then I think we lose a close Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. Unfortunately, I don't want to say that. I still want to win, but just how we've seen how the games are called there and how the Knicks feed off of the energy of the crowd. I mean, it's the same with us. Like, we're just unfortunate to be a lower seed than them because I think if we're going back to Indiana for Game 7, I wouldn't have a doubt in my mind that we could win that game. And the crowds have just played so much into these games. Even when we were playing the Bucks, like it's a bigger factor than a lot of people think it is, especially for these younger teams. Energy is a lot for us and them, and the Garden goes crazy when the Knicks are playing good, and we do too at uh, in the field house. So I honestly think that's what will happen. And if we do win, it'll be a close, and if we do lose, I think it'll still be a close game at the same time.
It was either Kenny Smith or Charles Barkley said something the other night that made a lot of sense to me. I don't know which one said it, but they both agreed. They said that the home team is a half a step faster when they're playing at home than they would be on the road. And that makes sense to me. If you watch the Pacers play, they do play faster at home, and it seems like the Knicks play faster in New York. Um, I don't know exactly why that is, but it obviously always has been. I mean, home court advantage or home field advantage is always a thing. Um, my prediction is I think the Pacers will win this next game if they show up, but they've got to come out and play like right off the bat. They can't do what the Pacers do sometimes and get down by 15 points in the first quarter. Can't do it. As long as we play hard, we'll win this next game. The crowd will help us. And I give it a 50-50 chance at New York. I think it's a toss up. When we go back there, we played good. We played good in New York. We played bad in New York. We can play good again. And so I think if we get to Game 7, I think it's a toss up. Really, really do.
I'm going to put my prediction out into the universe, and hopefully it's manifested, and God smiles down on the Indiana Pacers. I think the Pacers win in 6 in a hard fought game. I think we win in front of the home crowd. I think we go back to MSG, and it's going to be an absolutely crazy atmosphere. And I think, and I'm going to predict, that Tyrese Halliburton channels his inner Reggie Miller and rips the throat out of the Knicks in Game 7.
Well, I hope he does the choke as he goes down the floor.
That would be awesome. I think I think he's due to have his moment.
Well, I hope so.
All
Isn't
right,
that kickball really coming back to haunt us?
I think that's going to wrap up our Pacers talk. I wanted us to I wanted us to talk about the Colts a little bit and what we think about the season coming up. We don't have to go too in depth. Just I know that we all love the Colts, and maybe let's give a few things that we're excited about and maybe some early predictions.
I already know what Dad's gonna say.
I'll,
Hold
I'll
on.
start. I'll start. I'll
What I'm
start
going to
this.
say, Noah. What I'm going to say.
I'll start this one out.
Anthony Richardson trash.
I'll start this one out. I'm extremely excited about the rookies we have. I think we have a good batch of rookies coming in. I think Latu, I think he's going to be an absolute beast on defense. He has an infectious energy. It seems like he gets joy out of playing football more than a lot of guys I see playing. I think he loves it. I think he loves getting nasty. I watched some game footage of him at UCLA, and he's just a dog. He's relentless. So I'm very excited about that. I think AD Mitchell might have a similar rookie year to Josh Downs like he had last year. I think he'll come in and he'll make some big plays, and I think he's going to take the top off the defense some for us, which we were missing a lot last year, except for Pierce in a couple games. Um, I can't tell you how excited I am for AR to return, Anthony Richardson. Just in the few games he played last year, he was absolutely electric and kind of put to bed some of the worries I had about his accuracy coming in. I think he was very accurate, and the dude can hum the football. He puts mustard on it when he throws it. So yeah, I'm extremely excited about the season coming up for the Colts.
You can go ahead, Dad.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? My cameras don't, on my end, it's not, it's weird. So I don't know if it's that way with you guys seeing it or not, but I'm way behind.
It
Yeah,
looks good to me.
your mouth is a little bit behind, but we can hear you all right.
Okay. Um, I think the most thing I want to see is Anthony Richards stay. I want him to stay. Something came through my ear. Um, his health. He's got to stay healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, then we're screwed. So, yeah, I think Joe Flacco can be serviceable, but our team is not built to block. It's
I
not.
don't want to see Joe Flacco on the field unless we are beating a team by 30.
I don't want there to be a single Joe Flacco highlight outside of the preseason.
I hope not either. I mean, that's the key. The key to the Colts is our quarterback. If Richardson can stay on the field, we'll be fine. We'll have a good season then. But if he can't, then we're hosed because our line in the last 2 years have proven that they can't block and pass blocking. They can run block, but they cannot pass block. And Joe Flacco is not a big mover. He's better than Ryan at moving, but he's also another year older than he was last year. So, um, I mean, that's the key. Can we do it? Can he stay healthy? That's my thoughts. So,
Mr. Noah?
Well, I think the draft class we just brought in is really good, but what's going on with
Keep
his
going.
mic?
His camera's behind. Just keep going.
The draft class we just brought in, I think, is good. But what this draft class is inevitably going to show it's
I
going to mean a
couldn't
lot to him.
I couldn't read that at all.
it's backwards on here. No.
Can't read that?
Ballard is on the hot seat.
Yes. In this draft class, if AD Mitchell and Latu, I know we drafted some other pieces and stuff, it has to be like a Darius Leonard, Quentin Nelson year for them two guys. Because I liked Chris Ballard in the beginning, but for the past couple of years, he's made some absolute boneheaded decisions. And part of me, I like Latu. I like watching his highlights, and he's been really good in the highlights I'm watching. But we have Kwity Paye, and we have all these other guys that have been productive for us, and now we're going to take time away from them. So this guy, he has to be the home run that Chris Ballard hasn't hit in years.
I think he's going to be a stud.
I think he'll be good, but I mean, all pro, like all pro rookie first team. He's got to have that.
I think he has a skill set for it. He just has to do it.
And the other thing that I'm a little worried about is his neck fuse that he's got. I know Peyton Manning had it and played with it, but Peyton Manning was also he was hurt Like he had the neck injury in the era where you can't hit the quarterback anymore. That dude's gonna be running his head into everybody, every play. So I'm definitely a little concerned about that. I don't have any concerns about AD Mitchell that people were saying about, the stuff he did in college and kind of the way he acts. I think he can be a little cocky, but if he backs it up, like I think he can, I won't. I don't care what anybody has to say if they're gonna back it up on the field. So, and other than that, obviously, AR staying healthy, I gotta see it because we didn't see him very much last year. When we did, he played good, but I think if he's healthy, Jonathan Taylor probably has a couple more years left in the tank. I think of being an elite running back. I'd like to see him stay healthy, and I'd
Hopefully,
like to see. I think Michael Pittman is an incredible player. I want to see him take that next step. I want to see him be in the conversations for like one of the best receivers in the league, like top 5. I think he also has the skill set to do that, and I think him taking that next step is going to make guys like AD Mitchell and Josh Downs look like they could take that next step too, because it's going to open up a lot for our offense. And he's got a lot of people on. You look at Twitter, you get in the Titans Twitter, they say that our wide receiver 1 is a wide receiver 4 on every other team. I think that's I don't think that's true at all. I think that he's going to come out this year, take that next step, and it's even going to be better for our guys. I like the Reggie Wayne as the coach for the wide receivers room. I think everything he's done since he's been there as a coach has been good, especially with his experience playing in Indianapolis. I think it's a hard place to market yourself as a good player, and um, I think Pittman. I think in the case of him, he just needs to take that next step. And I think I like the guys we have. I don't really care about. I don't want to see any big trades or any free agency signings next year. I'm not really hoping for any of that, like I have been in past years, because I'm confident in our guys. Really, it's just got to come down to the health of our players and who's going to play hard. I think
Who is our number 2 receiver this year?
it depends on how AD Mitchell comes in, but I think it's probably Josh Downs. I think
yeah,
Alec Pierce took
Josh
an
Down.
extreme step back. I think Alec Pierce might be seeing his days end in Indy very soon.
Who was the guy that got hurt last year that was really looking good and got
Ashton
injured?
Dulin.
Is he going to be healthy this year or not? Or
Yep,
is he gone?
yep. He was back. He was back for the rookie minicamp. He was there with them, and he's healthy. He's back playing full.
I hated losing our backup running back too. I know there was not much we could do.
I knew it was coming.
I knew that we were going to lose him because they weren't going to pay what he wanted. But where did he end up at?
Cincinnati.
How much did they pay him?
I think 4.5 a
What
year.
what were we paying him?
We were basically paying him pennies.
We didn't have the
I
4.5
want to
million
say
to pay him.
I want to say we were paying him like 1.8 to like 2.1, somewhere in there.
We didn't have the money to re-sign him because I. Who would you rather of them have re-signed over? Because they weren't going to re-sign him over Kenny Moore or
Blackman.
Grove or Blackman or Pittman. Like we had a lot of our own guys we brought back that
Yep.
were
And we
more
just paid
valuable.
we just paid Jonathan Taylor too.
Yeah.
My thinking on that is Jonathan Taylor is one of the best there is in the league. But it was awfully nice having somebody come in behind him that was really, really good as well.
I agree.
For injury reasons or just to give him a breather or something, but that's a luxury I guess we don't have. So
I agree. I have I have all the faith in the world in Coach Steichen. I loved what I saw in year one. I think he's more fiery than any coach we've had in a while, which I love. I got extremely tired of Frank Reich before he left, and Steichen's a breath of fresh air. I love what he does on offense. We beefed up our offensive line in this draft. I think that we are going to run the crap out of the football. That's what I think.
I think after Frank Reich retires, finally he'll be a really good motivational speaker. But he's not a head coach.
Well, I think that's going to end our Colts talk there. Do you guys have anything you want to get off your chest or anything that you want to talk about before we get off here?
Well,
I have a
it's
bone to pick.
been. Oh, pick the bone. Go for it.
I don't know how much. I know Jacob has seen it. I don't know about you, Dad. I don't know what your Twitter is looking like these days. But I am absolutely sick and tired of the term front runner. Have you heard that yet, Dad?
I
That's
have
all they.
not been on Twitter for probably 2 weeks.
So when we were playing the Bucks in the first round, Bobby Portis called Tyrese a front runner, and apparently that term means somebody who celebrates when they're up, but doesn't say anything when they're down. Does that not? Does that not describe every player that has ever played sports in their life? Like all these Knicks fans are taking screenshots of him sitting on the bench with a mad look on his face when we're down by 30 and saying, "Oh, he's a front runner" because they put it next to him like smacking that three in DiVincenzo's eyes and then talking crap to him. And they're like, he only yeah, if I'm up by 30 and I just smacked a three in somebody's eye, I'm going to be celebrating. And I'm not, what's there to celebrate when you're down by 30? And that's all my Twitter is everybody that's not a Pacers fan calling him a front runner. And if you want to say that, dude, DiVincenzo is the biggest front runner I've ever seen in my life. He does the same stuff. And he's not even that good, I don't think. So that was my bone to pick. I wish I could delete that from everybody's head. Nobody says it no more. Because that's all that's on my Twitter is people calling him that. And really our whole team, they're calling him that. And I think that's the dumbest thing ever. I think that's every player that's ever
Yeah.
done anything.
It doesn't make much sense to me because me personally, you guys have seen me play, and when we're not playing well or I'm not playing well, I want to play harder and like I don't know. I want to ratchet up the emotion and try harder and play harder and do everything more than I was before. And it hurts me when I see people that are getting paid lots of money to do that don't do that. I want to see that same fire in them, and I don't often see that. That makes sense to me. The front runner thing, that don't make no sense to me at all because I mean that's what, like you said, it's pretty much what everybody does. If you're losing, you're really not celebrating. You're losing. So I don't even know what that means.
Well, they're saying like when we're down 30 and he hits a three, he's not talking crap. But he does when we're up when he hits a three. Like
Everybody
it's
does
like an
that.
announcer. It's like an announcer. If like those announcers are kind of funny when they're like, and Tyrese hits the big three to cut the lead to 28. Like
Okay,
nobody's gonna be out there actually celebrating that.
here's a good example. Um, is my camera weird again?
It's you're all good. We can hear you.
We can hear you, but you might want to pop it off and pop it back on. That seems to fix it.
Okay. In football, okay, I hate it when a guy they're down by 30 points and a guy in a losing team gets the first down or makes a 5-yard catch and he signals first down and he celebrates. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. That irritates me so bad. So is that what they're wanting Halliburton to do?
Yes,
Is
but I think
celebrate when they're down because they made a
I,
3-pointer and they're still down 27 now instead of 30?
I think I think they don't even understand their own logic, and I'd say that's a good example from you. But I think the difference between football and basketball is like if the Colts are down by 20, but our offense is playing good, and a guy wants to celebrate getting like a 15-yard run, I'm more okay with that than if like he hit a three to cut the lead to 28 and he started getting in someone's face. Like I think
100%.
that's a little different. I agree though. I don't like when they are celebrating when we're getting blown out neither because I know that that's not something I would do. But that's basically what they're saying. And even if like Pacers fans will ask, like, what do you want him to do? Like, do you want him not to be happy that it became the face of a franchise that has basically been in poverty for the past 10 years, and then elevated them to? I mean, I wouldn't have said this before the season, but we are contenders. We're 2 wins away from being in the conference finals. Which, if you would ask me before the season, I would not have said that. So like I think it's awesome for him to be excited and celebrate. Does he probably talk a little bit too much crap? Maybe. But at the same time, they're doing it too when they're up. Brunson doesn't. I'm not gonna say he was. He's basically dead silent with no facial expressions the entire time. But DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, all them guys, when they do something good, especially if their team is winning, they're celebrating. And I think it's stupid of them to even act like that's a bad thing. So
I just
in the
don't.
next 5 years, when we win our NBA championship, I'll be happy to be a fan of the biggest front running team that's ever happened.
I just don't care about that at all. That doesn't bother me. But
What do you
Dad,
mean? When people saying that?
yeah, I just don't care. Fans are always going to go back at other fans and players. You don't like
Well,
Brunson, and you call him a flopper and everything else all the time.
I
So it's
do
just
like Brunson,
fans are going to say what they're going to say.
but the difference is, to be honest with you, you don't see a Pacers fan. Well, I have personally not seen a Pacers fan go, "Yeah, Tyrese is a front runner. Who cares? Like we like him being that." But I will tell you, I've probably seen 2 or 3 Knicks fans on Twitter going, "Yes, Jalen Brunson is a flopper, and we love that he's a flopper." Or even in
Well,
game one, I literally saw the Knicks Muse Twitter account as soon as the game was over tweet 2 horrible calls. Indiana should have won. We'll take it though.
obviously, Quinn says that all the time in the call when something goes our way. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "We'll take that on their partner, even though it was a bad call." But to counteract what you're saying, probably the biggest flopper ever was Reggie Miller. And we love Reggie Miller. And he was a flopping man. That man flopped and
Yep,
accentuated and did all kinds of stuff.
I
So
agree.
it's it's the kind of thing that you're gonna take if it's on your team and you're gonna hate it if it's not.
The difference is, dude, I wasn't necessarily alive for very long when Reggie was still playing, but when I did see him play in like old throwback clips, dude, when he was flopping, he was selling the actual foul when he got hit. There might have been a few where he didn't get fouled. Jalen Brunson, sometimes somebody blows on him from the crowd and he acts like Ray Lewis just tombstoned him through the floor. And that's what I can't stand.
I get what you're saying.
The
Dad, oh, go ahead.
what?
I was gonna ask if you had any bones to pick.
Well, what you guys said about the Reggie Miller stuff. Uh, Reggie Miller did flop some, but I agree with what Noah said. He flopped to draw more attention to a real potential foul, but he did not yell and scream like he got murdered when like somebody barely touched him. Or it kills me, like every time somebody drives to the basket they scream like ah, like they got hit, and a lot of times nothing happens. They didn't get hit at all. Reggie did do stuff to he did draw fouls on purpose and make flopping whatever, he drew attention to it, but it wasn't constant throughout the game, and it also wasn't get fouled and nothing got called. He wasn't arguing with the ref all the way back down the floor the entire time. And it seems like the players do that so much. It's like every time down the floor they're looking at the referee like, why didn't you call that? Or just drives me crazy. So it's the same way with NFL too.
I agree. Do you have any
Every
bones?
pass goes down the field. They think that they should get a call. So any bones to pick about what?
Anything grinding your gears lately?
Everything. How about that?
Everything is grinding your gears.
Too much to say. I'll turn the camera back on, see that it's lagging like super way far behind, like
Yeah,
20, 30 seconds behind for some reason.
yeah. We'll figure that out. You still sound good, so that's all that matters.
I have a real
I
life
don't have
bone to pick.
nothing.
All right, let's
All
hear
right.
another pick, Noah.
I'm absolutely sick and tired of going to Walmart to pick up a few things, and somehow I scan them at the register, and I got to drop $130 on a few household items that I need in my life. That's probably the worst thing going on in my life right now.
I agree with that.
Groceries. Whoa. I think that groceries are inflated by about 30% now.
They are. That is annoying.
I'm
I
looking
don't.
at my
I
camera
don't.
back up.
I don't think I have any bones to pick. There's nothing particular right now that's irritating me or anything.
Just to add to that, it's not just groceries, it's anything. I need some new contact solution or some toothpaste or a couple bottles of soap or anything like that. Like, if today I went to the rec center and I popped my basketball and I had to go to Walmart and buy one that's actually worth having, I got to spend $90 on a ball that they probably made for 20 cents in Asia. And it's with anything, dude. I somehow, if I go to Walmart on a planned like day of shopping and get a cart full of groceries, and I get up there and the bill is 150 bucks, I'm completely fine with that. And that happens. But somehow, when I just go there and get 3 bags of things that I don't even need the cart, I just literally hold my hands, and it comes out between 80 and 100 bucks. I'm literally angry for like the rest of the day.
Well,
Like that's my real life bone to pick right now, especially with all the things I'm having to pay for right now and the wedding coming up and all that. I'm just tired of spending money on stuff that I actually need.
I get that.
everything is through the roof right now. The I knew like during the pandemic and right after it when salaries and wages jumped up so much that everything would follow it, and it has. It's just now catching up to everything. But I mean, housing is outrageous for rent, and interest rates on loans is really high. Cars have. You look at the price of a brand new truck. You can't even like the cheapest model of truck you can get now is like 60 grand. That's crazy. But yeah, we're and probably the one of the most frustrating things to me is I feel like our representatives don't represent us at all. Period. Nothing.
Yep.
And they just keep giving money to people that I don't know doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Well, I think, guys, unless we have anything else we need to say, I think we end this episode here. Um, if you're listening to this initial pilot episode of The Blairing Truth, comment below and tell us what you think. If you have any suggestions or critiques, that would be great.
Criticism is
Also,
welcome.
also, if you have any topics you would like us to discuss or questions or just podcast ideas in general, that would be helpful as well.
We're
Yeah,
pretty much willing to discuss anything.
we can argue about anything there is to argue about. We've proved that over the years. So, and all of us are pretty well educated just about any topic we can talk about. So, um, I think it was a good first episode, and we're at an hour and 10 minutes now, and it flew by. So I think it's probably a good time to call it a night. But um, I'm hoping we get some feedback from people who watch and tell us what we did good and what we can do better. And so far, I've only one really had any technical difficulties, just with the camera slowing down for some reason. But everything else seemed to go pretty well.
All right, sounds great, guys. I think we'll go ahead and end the episode there then.
Head out there and a good day tomorrow.
This episode is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Actually, this episode is brought to you by Blair's Leather
Oranges.
Works.
Yes, it is. I'm right now in the shop. All right, guys. Ending the stream in 3, 2, 1. See you guys later.